That's that tune right there. Yo, what's good, y'all? I'm Prince J. Grimes, senior writer at Bet for the Win, and this is Prince J Live, where we talk about sports and some more stuff. Thanks for tapping in with your boy on today, Tuesday, May 20th. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And today I want to talk about what's wrong with Juan Soto. The 49ers are printing money again. The Suns organization is a mess. But first, can I admit something to y'all, man? I know the NFL teams, they're meeting today in Minneapolis, spring meetings. They're going to have some discussions. They're going to decide whether they should ban the tush push, a.k.a. the brotherly shove. I got to be honest with y'all. It's stupid. But I do not care if they ban this play at all. And listen, this is not just me being a Giants fan. As I'm sure you can see, I got my Giants plaque up there on the wall from, what's that, the 2012 Super Bowl. We got a couple of Giants figurines here. I am a Giants fan, I guess is the point I'm trying to make here. Sorry for those listening without the video component here, but I am not merely rooting for this play to get banned because it is the Eagles, and I don't like the Eagles. I mean, let's just go ahead and get that out the way. I don't even think that the play should be up for vote to be banned. To be quite honest with you, I think this is stupid. It's a waste of time. But it got put through as something for them to consider banning. And since it's there, I'm in favor of getting rid of it, damn it. And here's why. It's kind of not fun to watch. Like just taking the Eagles out of it. It could be any team. The play itself is not fun to watch. Okay? As soon as it's a 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, or 2 for the Eagles, I'm going downstairs, man. I'm about to go make a sandwich or something. I'm about to go get something to drink. I don't need to stick around for this play. I know what's going to happen. Right? That kind of takes the fun away out of football. The whole fun about football is you never know what's going to happen any given play, any given day, any given Sunday. Everything is just a matter of will, determination. Random events happen. You never really know. When it comes to this one play, though, we pretty much know the result of it. What are the stats here? Let me see. I had the stats pulled up about how automatic this play is just about. The Eagles scored a touchdown or achieved a first down on 87% of their tush push attempts. Now, granted, they are better at this play than the rest of the league. I don't want to sit here and make it seem as though this play is automatic for everyone. The rest of the league is merely 71%. So 7 out of 10 attempts. But the rest of the league doesn't attempt it nearly as much either. So when it does happen, it's still an element of surprise because you never know that the other team is going to do that. When it comes to the Eagles, not only do we know what's happening, we know what the result of it is going to be, and it makes for pretty bad TV. I'm just being honest about the situation. So if we're going to vote on it, which again, I think it's stupid, this is clearly an advantage that this team found, and they exploited it to their advantage. I'm not mad at any team for doing that. If I was an Eagles fan, supporter, employee, I would think this is the dumbest thing ever. Don't take away my tush push. I get it. But now that it's up for vote, I won't be mad if they get rid of it just purely from the perspective of a spectator. I don't enjoy the play. I don't enjoy watching it. I said I would get a sandwich when I see the play coming up. That's a lie. I go and get my refreshments and all of that as soon as I see the Eagles got to within a yard of a first down or touchdown. I don't even need to see them line up in the huddle. I don't need the shot of Nick Sirianni saying something into the headset. I know it's coming. In that situation, I could be the Eagles offensive coordinator. Real simple. Matter of fact, we don't even need to call the play in. Hey, Jalen, you know what to do. Soon as I see Saquon Barkley break off that 9-yard run on first down, y'all know what time it is, man. So, yeah, I just had to get that out the way. There are some other things they're voting on at these meetings. I think actually the underrated thing that they're talking about is changing the playoff format. And this isn't getting nearly as much attention, and I do think this is actually more important. The Lions are scared. This proposal came from Detroit, and the way I'm taking it is the Lions are scared. But essentially, they want to eliminate automatic home games for division winners. So you do get a playoff berth for winning your division under this proposal, but you don't automatically get to host a playoff game if a wild card team has a better record, which was the case with the NFC North last year, where the Lions won the division, the Vikings finished second in the division, but they only had like one fewer loss, right? Or one more loss than the Lions. The Vikings, I want to say the Lions were 14-3? Is that right? 17 games now, right? 14-3. And the Vikings were 13-4. And yet the Vikings had to go on the road to Tampa Bay, I believe, for their opening playoff game, even though they had a better record. And the Lions are the ones actually proposing this change. And it's obviously because their division is tough. Like the NFC North is getting better. There's a good chance the Lions could have another great season and not win the division and have to go on the road for their opening playoff game. And so I got to say, I don't like this change. I don't like the proposal. I get it. It makes sense in theory. Why should we have to go on the road if we have a better record than whichever team we're playing? But you make this change now, it would be extremely short-sighted. As much as this can potentially happen down the road, and maybe it has happened a few times in the past where the better team is actually on the road, that's the whole point of divisions. If you change this, it minimizes the importance of winning your division. Like, that's one of the incentives of winning your division is that you get to host a playoff game. And I get it. What if you play in a weak division? Well, that's not my fault. A lot of times the first goal that a team sets for the season is, first we need to win our division. So that division rivalry and stacking up and building your team to compete with those teams in your division, that remains of the utmost importance a lot of times. And then you can start working out from there. Then we worry about the conference. Then we worry about whoever we might face in the Super Bowl. And you need to be prepared for all those things, but it starts with the division. Just little small changes like this where you just slightly minimize the importance of winning your division, it minimizes the importance of divisions. And we see that in the NBA where divisions don't matter at all. People forget there are divisions in the NBA and nobody cares. Like they hang a little banner if you win your division. There isn't a ceremony for that. No one cares if you win your division. Winning your division is still an important thing in the NFL. Like that's still a thing we talk about. We still care about the rivalries within those divisions. And this would not entirely eliminate that because of the element of, hey, you still get a playoff berth by winning your division. But hosting that game, man, that's important. That's still important, and I think you take that away, you just slightly minimize the importance of winning your division. Like, so what if you're the Vikings and you had to go on the road? You had your chance in Week 18, head-to-head with the Lions, to win that game and get a home playoff game. You had the chance, right? if you lose the game, you lose the game. But you get to play your division. You get 6 games within the division each year. That's your chance to host a playoff game. Win those games. That's really what it comes down to for me. So I really hate this proposal. I hope that it gets rejected. I hope that the NFL owners aren't so short-sighted to realize, like, hey, eventually down the road, this could ultimately backfire on us. And, it makes sense that it's coming from the Lions, considering that they're in the division that right now is strong. A few years ago, that wasn't the case in this division. And that may not be the case in this division in the near future. We'll see, right? The Vikings could probably take a step back this year. In fact, I would say it's probably likely with J.J. McCarthy taking over, right? The Bears, we think that they'll eventually get better. We'll see what they look like under Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams, as those two try to turn this franchise around. The Packers are right there, right? They should be competitive for the foreseeable future. And same with Detroit, right? As long as Jared Goff continues to play good football, I can see this division staying strong for a few more years. But that's not going to be the case forever, man. Right? Like, these things, the changes come and go. The NFC East was dominant for forever. Now they're down on hard times. Eventually, that's going to turn around too. Especially if we get rid of that tush push. The Lions are plus 120 to win the North, by the way. They are the favorites by a decent margin. The Packers are next at plus 275. No reason why Detroit should be so scared to be proposing something like this. Just go win the division, man. What are we even talking about right now? Vikings and Bears plus 450. If I'm a betting man, I think I probably stick with Detroit for another year there. Yeah, I'll probably stick with Detroit another year there. Let's talk about the Niners for a second here. They just extended Fred Warner, 3-year, $63 million contract extension. It makes him the highest paid linebacker once again in the NFL. Over $56 million in guaranteed money. And how do they keep doing this? I guess that would be my question about the about the 49ers. It just seems like they have an unlimited supply of money, right? Like, it feels like every year they have to extend someone. I mean, because they have been a team that has competed for Super Bowls, it feels like, for a damn decade now. And every year someone needs to get paid to keep that thing going. And every year they find a way to pay him. And so this offseason, it was Brock Purdy, who I think a week ago they just made him maybe the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. George Kittle got a deal that made him like the highest paid tight end in the NFL. Now Fred Warner, this is his second time getting a deal that makes him the highest linebacker in the NFL. Last offseason, it was Brandon Ayuk and Nick Bosa. I mean, we've seen them pay Deebo Samuel in the past. Trent Williams, I think, got a deal last offseason. And, man, I mean, shout out to those guys, man. They keep figuring it out. If you're a fan of a team, this is what you want to see. You want to see them pay their best guys. You want to see them find a way to keep guys around. And actually, I think this extension for Fred Warner probably helped free up some cap space. They're able to push some of that money that he was owed this season to the back of that deal. And so that frees up some money in the long time. And that's really what it comes down to. You're just pushing that money down the line a little bit. And so that's how they're really making it work. But I got to say, it sounds fishy for a team that just kind of completely fell apart last season to pay guys to keep them around and see if you can run it back. But I do think that this San Francisco team has a chance to bounce back this year. I think they can squeeze another competitive year out of this roster, at least another year. Right? Like, they're tied for the 7th best Super Bowl odds, 3rd best in the NFC. That's stretching it a little for me. I would not be betting on them to win the Super Bowl or the NFC, not touching it. But they can make the playoffs for sure. Like, we talked about how the divisions fluctuate. The West, to me, is kind of on a downturn. The Niners are down a little bit. The Rams are kind of right there. I don't know what to make of the Rams because, like, they have this young, ascending defense, you think. with aging playmakers on offense when it comes to Matt Stafford. They brought in Devontae Adams to replace Cooper Kupp. I mean, obviously, Puka Nacua and Kyron Williams are young guys who you believe in. But, if Matthew Stafford can't stay healthy, I don't know how much you can trust that offense. So we'll see what happens with that. But the Rams are probably the team you would say, okay, this division should be theirs. The Niners are right there, though. Right? I don't think that we can just give it to the Rams. And then the Seahawks replacing Geno with Sam Darnold, losing all of your receivers damn near. I'm just not sure I trust the Seahawks much this year. The Cardinals are a team you feel like should be on the climb. It really is going to come down to how good Kyler Murray is. I think we're still figuring that out right now. I would not put them in the conversation with the 49ers or the Rams right now. I think they're just a notch below those two teams, but you can't count out the Cardinals either. Yeah, this team is not as good as I think it has been in recent years. And so with that said, I think the Niners have a chance to not only make the playoffs, I think they can win the West at plus 160 odds. I'm not mad at that. I would not be mad. Matter of fact, I might even take them at plus 110 to go over 10.5 wins. I know that sounds crazy. The Niners at 11 wins. What did they have last year? They had 6 wins last year. So basically, can they almost, double their win total from a year ago? I think that with better health, a lot of injuries last year, they have the potential to do it, mainly because they're playing a 4th place schedule this year. Like, they finished dead last in the West, so that gives them an easier schedule this year. And let's just look at this for the Niners for a second here. They open the season with the Seahawks, who, again, I just mentioned, I think the Niners are better than them. Then they get the Saints. Niners are better than them. They get the Cardinals. Niners are better. Jaguars. Niners are better. I think they could start the year 4-0. Then you got to go to L.A. to play the Rams at Tampa. Those are 2 tough games. I think they can split every game in the division at least. So if we just give them a win over the Rams, right? We give them the early win over the Rams on the road. However unlikely it is that that's the one they get. Whatever. Let's say they get that one, though. 5-0. Are you telling me they can't beat Tampa on an extended week? Because that LA game is a Thursday game. So then you get a little bit, even though you got to stay on the road and go to Tampa, you do get a little extra time to prepare. 6-0. Then you get Atlanta. The Niners are probably better than the Falcons right now. I'm just saying, I'm not picking them to go 7-0. I'm just saying that is a realistic possibility. Even if you throw a couple of L's in there, say they do lose that Rams game, say they do lose that Tampa game because it's a second game on the road. Maybe they start the season 4 and what would you say, 5-2? Then you go to Houston. You probably take that L. Then you get the Giants. Then you get the Rams again. That would be the Rams game you win, more than likely. Then you go to Arizona. Maybe that's the Cardinals game you lose. Then you get the Panthers and the Browns and the Titans and the Colts. This is a very easy schedule for the 49ers. I could see them going over 10.5 wins, man. I'm not exactly mad at that. And so I say that to say, yeah, it makes sense that they would extend their guys this year and not blow it up just yet. Give it another run. I don't know what you do with Christian McCaffrey. I don't know how healthy he's going to be, but I guess you got to see. Doesn't really seem to matter which running back they kind of plug into that system, though. They tend to figure it out at running back. I think it's really going to come down to Brock Purdy, the guy they just gave all the money to. I think he earned the contract. I'm not one of the people that says he should not have gotten paid. Listen, man, put it on the system, put it on the playmakers around him. Whatever you want to do, he had to go out there and make it happen in those circumstances, and he did. For the most part, he has been a really good quarterback, even if you want to credit the system and the playmakers. Someone had to go in there and make it happen, and he did. And what happens when you go in there and make it happen is you get paid. Especially when the team drafted Trey Lance and that plan fell apart, and they traded a bunch of picks to get Trey Lance and trade up for him in that draft. That fell apart. That didn't work. Jimmy Garoppolo couldn't come through when they needed him the most to win a Super Bowl. Brock Purdy has come in there and been the best quarterback of all these guys. You pay him. That's what you do. You pay him. or you roll the dice with another guy. And good luck rolling the dice when, again, as I just said, I think this is a season that they can make something happen. One last time, don't go out here and get a first place and have a great year, and then, don't win the Super Bowl, and then next year it gets a little harder. Then that's really when we'll need to see Brock Purdy go and earn that money. But for this year, I think the Niners have a good chance to do something special again. Not picking them to win a Super Bowl, but I think we'll see them back in the playoffs. All right, let's move on to another sport that I haven't really touched on much on Prince J Live. That is baseball, and you know what? Juan Soto, man. If there's anyone that's gonna get me to talk about baseball, it's my guy Juan Soto. I keep showing stuff behind me, mostly because I don't do it often. But as you can see, I got the little Trey Turner doll there. I am a Nationals fan, and Juan Soto could never do wrong in my eyes, man. And I say that as someone who grew up a Yankees fan before the Nationals came around. I rooted for the Yankees. So to see Juan Soto go from the Nationals to the Yankees, I was thrilled. And to see him leave the Yankees and go to the Mets, who play in the same division as the Nationals and are rivals with the Yankees, playing the same city, it hurt. It hurt me. I'm not as hurt as Yankees fans. Like diehard Yankees fans out there in the Bronx, I'm not that hurt, right? Like, I'm still rooting for Juan Soto. I would not have been among the people booing him. But seems like he wishes he would have stayed with the Yankees too. Now, there have been reports about how Juan Soto's feeling. I'm just going off the actions at this point. And if you didn't see last night at Fenway Park, Juan Soto hit a ball that he thought was going to go over the Green Monster. It did not. It hit the top of the wall. And he did not run out of he didn't run out of the box. And so he was held to a single, a really, really long single. And obviously with everything that went on over the weekend with him going back to Yankee Stadium and getting booed each time he came up to the plate, each game of the series, reporters had questions, man. Like, what's going on with Juan? Why is he not hustling out of the box? And, it happens, man. It does happen. But just body language-wise, people are reading a lot into it. And there have been reports that Juan Soto is not happy. And I got to tell you, man, if I am a Mets fan, this is the last thing you want to hear about the guy that literally just signed a 13-year contract with the team. He is in the first year of a 13-year contract, and already there are reports that he is unhappy. Now, listen, I don't know how true this is. It doesn't sound like anyone's getting this from the mouth of Juan Soto. He has not said publicly that he is unhappy. But you can go to NJ.com. Bob Klapsich. Did I say his name right? Klapish. He's got a column up there that says Soto is miserable. Let me see if I can find the most damning thing out of this. I'm looking at it now for anyone listening to the audio without the video. I probably should have had this queued up. But essentially, it's saying that Soto wishes he would have stayed with the Yankees. And if you're a Mets fan, that's got to hurt. Here. And that was just one. Michael Kay of the Yes Network reported the same thing. He said ahead of the Mets-Yankee series, he was at Yankee Stadium and he was talking to people on both sides. Talking to people from the Mets. Kay covers the Yankees, but he was talking to people on the Mets side, and he came away with the impression that Soto is miserable too. All right, here's K. A lot of people don't want to hear it. I will preface this by saying no matter what is going on with Soto now, 100 out of 100 times the Mets have to sign Soto. And 100 out of 100 times Soto is going to be fine. He's one of the great hitters you will ever see. And mind you, Soto is having like a down season by his standards. So it's not even just that he might be unhappy. His play is reflecting that. But K continued. Here's what I found out. People that I talk to on the Mets side, and they can deny it publicly because, of course, that's what they have to do. He is very, very glum around the clubhouse. He does not have a hop in his step. He does not smile much. I'm not going to say he's unhappy because how can you be unhappy with a $765 million contract, which fair. But money is not a guarantee that you are going to be comfortable somewhere. Why isn't he happy? It comes down to this. I'll say it now, and it will be denied. Of course, it has to be denied. But I have talked to people that I respect. He wanted to return to the Yankees. That was his preference. His family said you are going to the Mets. His family felt very comfortable around Alex and Steve Cohen. Those are the owners of the Mets. And they said, you are going to the Mets. And he is a guy that listens to his family. So I think at this point, he is probably a bit down, pouting a bit. And then to come to Yankee Stadium with 3 straight sellout crowds at a place that was his field of dreams, it became his field of nightmares over the weekend. That was Michael K. So these are 2 separate reports saying that Soto is miserable. And I got to say, man, he better get over it quick. Because you got another 12 years after this one, brother. You ain't even made it through the first one. And as someone who has experience jumping into a situation and then realizing that it's not quite the situation you wanted, the situation doesn't change. So if you're miserable, you are going to stay miserable unless you change. Soto's going to have to change his mind about the situation. He's just going to have to embrace it, understand that this is what it is, and have a paradigm shift. It's got to be a mental shift from within for him to understand that and embrace that this is what it is. You can't go anywhere. They're not trading you in the first year of a 13-year, $700+ million contract. And nor do you really want the PR mess that comes with people knowing you're unhappy in the situation that you locked yourself into. So I just wanted to touch on that a bit, man. I find that incredibly interesting for this stuff to be leaking out about someone as big as Juan Soto, who's getting paid as much as Juan Soto, who hasn't even been on his new team for an entire season yet. It's only been 2 months. It's been like 2 months, man. That's crazy. All right, man. Can somebody tell me what's going on with the Suns organization? No, seriously, like, I thought that they got rid of the mess when they made Robert Sarver sell the team. Apparently, that's not the case. Matt Ishbia is the new owner, and there still appears to be mess in the Suns building. Now, to be fair, the stuff that's trickling out now does not seem to be directly attached to the owner this time, as it was with Robert Sarver the last time, who just couldn't stop saying nigga. I'm sorry, excuse my language. He couldn't stop saying the N-word. And he couldn't stop objectifying women in the building, around the workplace. That doesn't seem to be the case with Matt Ishbia. But usually, when you make a guy get rid of the team for stuff like that, someone has to come in there and kind of change the culture, bring some new people in. That's what the Washington Commanders did with Dan Snyder. At least it appears that way, right? Like, they got new ownership, and they seem to, like, clean up all of the stench of Dan Snyder, right? That place is a new place. That don't really seem to be the case with the Suns, man. Because there's a new lawsuit out. Actually, there are 4 new lawsuits. And I guess if you look at them individually and you can say, hey, maybe these are people, maybe this stuff isn't as serious. You can pick at them, but when it's four of them, you got to pay attention because you can't dismiss all of them. And the odd thing about this is, the one that's really being highlighted here is, and let's be clear, this lawsuit is against the Suns organization. It's not at any individual, but a lot of individuals are named in the suit. And one name in particular, Josh Bartelstein, has been implicated. He's the CEO, I believe, of the Suns organization. And he's new. He is a Ishbia hire. And so that really makes you wonder, man, is it just really just a bunch of piece of shit people around the NBA? Like, is it just an executive thing? Like, maybe it's not a Suns thing. I don't know. Maybe it's the culture of the Suns that they didn't clean up that made whatever actions are being alleged in this lawsuit okay, because that's just how we do things around here. No matter who comes in and who brought you in, I have no clue. And who knows how much of this stuff is true, but I do know it doesn't look good. I don't want to go too deep into it because I would like to see how things play out. But there is the gist of the one that I read about was a high-ranking security official, director in the organization is suing the organization for essentially dismissing his concerns, his security concerns that he brought to the team, and basically demoting him and trying to push him out of the organization for bringing these concerns up. He believes there was some racial bias involved. It's a black guy. He alleges that Bartelstein or someone in the Suns organization hired someone to be above him to basically push him out of the organization, another black man, which is a classic tactic, by the way. That is one thing they will do, or has happened in the past is, the using a black man against another black man to kind of absolve the person that's actually in power from any fault. And so, they hired another black man to be above this director and to basically push him out of the organization. At least that's what's alleged. Some messy stuff is coming out about Sophie Cunningham. Listen, I don't think that anyone should necessarily believe, because that is going to be the headline. That's the juicy, salacious stuff coming out of this. I don't think anyone should believe what's being alleged about Sophie Cunningham necessarily. Who knows if it's true or not, but it is. The lawsuit doesn't say it happened. The lawsuit says someone said it happened. You can read into it. I'm not getting into that. But I will say all of this is messy. It's a bad look for the Suns. Matt Ishbia got to do something, man. This is your team. You got to clean this stuff up. Because if any of this stuff is even a little bit true, racial discrimination, harassment, all of it seems to have a racial component to it. Even the lawsuits that I didn't necessarily get into as much. It's terrible for a team to still carry this stench after you got rid of the last guy who was supposed to be at fault for all of it. All right, before we get out of here, man, the Timberwolves, plus 7.5. That's my pick in Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. The Wolves are underdogs on the road at OKC. I just think they're a lot more rested than the Thunder. I can't believe the Thunder are already playing again. This is the stuff. I mean, I talked about this the last recording. Give these guys some breaks, man. Like, do we want a good series? Do we want rested, healthy players or not, NBA? But whatever the case is, the Wolves have been off. They earned that with how quickly they ended their series against the Warriors, even though Steph Curry was out. So, of course, they did. And think that's going to play a factor in tonight's game. Give me the Wolves plus 7.5. And with that, we can call it a wrap. I appreciate y'all for tapping in as always. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and live life live. Catch you next time.